Okay, so today we're at one of our factories. This is a factory that we've been working with for some time. We've audited them a long time ago, and we've established that they're a factory that we can get good quality product from. But what we're going to show you in this video is the difference of the product that comes out of here when we don't do the QA. And this is the factory is essentially what they're just going to give you, and this is with our quality assurance process. This is the result. So this video we're going to show you the difference. We're going to start off with the drop test and show you the results of that. We're then going to show you the product, the instructions, and all the details, and then show you the difference of what you would get if you just place the order with the factory with no quality assurance, and what you would get if Easy IMEX was to do the quality assurance on that product. So let's start off with the drop test. Okay, so now we're going to do the drop test, which is where we drop from a minimum of 90 centimeters 4 times on different corners. Okay, so this is the good sample, the Easy IMEX QA'd, and if you look at the packaging, you can see there's a specific way that the foam has been shaped. There's a specific requirement for the density of the foam, and if we open the product up, and if we look at the corners, basically this is the key that there's no damage on any of the corners, because as an importer, if you're selling or retailing this product and there's any damage to any of the corners, obviously that's where you're going to get complaints, defects, and a high amount of returns. Basically you can see with these corners that so far there's no damage. So this one looks like it passed the drop test. Okay, so this is the product that essentially the factory was going to sell us. The Easy IMEX hadn't done the QA on it, and if we open up the box, they used a lower density of foam. So you can see the foam's kind of split up a lot more. It's a lower density product that's not as strong. The cardboard isn't reinforced cardboard, so to the naked eye, you probably can't tell that, but this cardboard is very squishy. It doesn't hold its strength. It's much cheaper, but straight away you can see very typically this is a defect straight away. You can see here part of the corner is completely split off. So this is a fail. So this product here that the factory was going to sell us has clearly failed the drop test. Let's just look at the other side. It's close, but yeah, essentially with things like this, it's failed, and that's the drop test failed. Let's see how the rest of the product fares. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is the instructions. So here on a very dusty piece of MDF, this is a factory after all. We have 2 sets of instructions, okay, and this is what the factory were going to provide to us. To me, very typical. Let's have a look what we've got. We've got an exploded diagram. We've got a bit of a parts list. There's that, and then we have something very, very basic, and there is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Step 5, step 6, step 7, step 8. 8, there's basically nothing to do. So there's basically 7 steps to building this product, and there's no words. It's just literally a few pictures. The pictures are quite small. When it comes to things like the brackets, you basically can't see which way around the bracket should go. You can't really tell the pilot holes that they should go into. And if we look at this set of instructions, which is after Easy IMEX have QA'd it, we've got a contents list, we've got some safety care advice, care and maintenance, we have an exploded diagram, and we have the components list, we have step 1, We have step 2, we have exploded pictures, so you can see each step specifically and clearly what needs to be done. And that goes on, so we have much more detail. These instructions are going to be much easier for the consumer to follow. We have some, while it's rather basic, some key points here. You know, this needs to be repeated 5 times. So it's kind of people talk about frustration-free packaging. I guess I would refer to this as frustration-free instructions. These instructions actually tell you step by step what needs to be done. These instructions, some people would argue that you need a degree in mechanical engineering to follow these instructions. They're just, you know, to be honest, my child at junior school could probably do something a bit better, and this is basically how it should be. So let's use these and assemble the products and see how we go. Okay, so I don't know if you can pick this up on the camera, but for this section we need to put all the brackets onto the panel. Now, from these instructions, it's actually very difficult to see if this bracket should go this way around or this way around. Okay. There's also, because there's multiple holes in this bracket, you can easily make the mistake to put the screw in the wrong place, which will mean you'll put the brackets in the wrong place. So this is extremely, if you're a customer and you've never assembled this product before, you're going to be extremely prone to putting the brackets on either the wrong way around or screwing them into the wrong pilot holes, because this bracket gives you multiple choices and the instructions don't make it clear. So following these instructions, you're going to get very frustrated customers. Okay, so one of the problems that we've found with factories essentially QAing the product is the people that they have building the samples up are basically quite skilled professionals. That's their job, is to sample, and essentially they're carpenters. And so for them, they could basically put you know, furniture together with their eyes closed. The other thing is they often use power tools, which makes the process much simpler and easier. What we do at Easy IMEX is your average customer may or may not have one of these, but what we do is we have to assume that, you know, this is the tool that they will have. So when we're assembling the product, we will put ourselves in the position of the customer, the position of the end consumer, and assemble it how we think they're going to be assembling it, follow the instructions as we believe they're going to be assembling it. Okay, so when we started the exercise for this particular client, they were buying product from a manufacturer. They were basically getting complaints and they just felt that the product was cheap. They're in a very price sensitive market, so of course they needed to buy as cheaply as they could, but they were basically getting a product that people were just not happy with. I don't have the exact same product here, but what they were getting was a particle board product with a paper finish, and what they are now getting from us is getting an MDF product with a melamine finish. Now, paper, essentially, when it gets wet, the surface is not water resistant, and the product will quickly age, and it just doesn't look, it looks a bit cheap. The MDF product with a melamine finish is superior in terms of longevity of the actual product itself. The other thing is the difference between particle board and MDF. As you saw when I did the drop test, the bad sample, that was actually made from particle board, and if you remember, you'll see an end corner completely broke off. And what we did is we did some tests, pretty rudimentary tests, where we just smashed these against a wall, and what we found is the particle board, which obviously even from the naked eye you can see it's lower density, this just has a tendency to snap much easier, and the MDF is you can give it a lot more hammering and beating around before it will break. And this product, the problem that we have with the MDF is after it's been dropped so many times, it will just lose its integrity and it will just be prone to breaking. So this product, for a mail order package, the product made out of the MDF, you're just going to have a lot less defects, corners chipping, etc., than you would have from the particle board. Now, the final point that I will make on these two materials is there are pros and cons to both of these materials, but actually what we also found in going through the samples, testing, is unlike what many people thought, this MDF is actually lighter than this particle board. So even though this looks like a less dense product, for reasons unbeknown to me, the same product made out of this particle board is lighter. And so when you're an online seller and we're trying to pass drop test, the lighter the product, the easier it's going to be to pass the drop test. So again, this material, trying different things, testing different materials, we found that this was the more suitable material to make the product. Okay, so we are now assembling the good sample, and on the good sample, first of all, you can see with the instructions, we have very clear pictures and diagrams showing you the position of the bracket. Because the pictures are clear, you can actually see clearly which way around the bracket should go. There's an additional note in the instructions telling you that you need to screw in the 4th and 12th holes. Not only that, but we've also made it impossible for a customer to attach the bracket on the wrong way. So the customer would not be able to attach the bracket this way around. So they can only do it this way around. And what we've done is put the holes so it's just very obvious, and basically you can't screw it up. So our viewpoint is that the more problems we can eliminate the consumer making at this stage before we go into mass production, by thinking through all the potential ways somebody could assemble this in a wrong way, the more of those problems we reduce here means when you're selling thousands and thousands of these units, the less problems and complaints you will get from the consumer at the other end. So it's a classic case of, a stitch in time saves 9. Okay, so we have finished the assembly of the product, and to my right we have the good sample, and here we have the bad sample. This is the product that EasyIMEX QA'd. This is the product which was going to come fresh from the factory with no quality assurance in place. Now, to the naked eye, they look quite similar, but imagine you're a consumer. First of all, this product is quite stable, doesn't wobble around too much. This one, you can see there's quite a bit of wobble if I just do that, whereas this one, it's much more solid. We made a couple of important and structural design changes in this product to make sure that it didn't wobble, because that was a common complaint our customer was getting. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I'd point out is, for a consumer to build this product, basically they wouldn't be frustrated. The instructions were clear and easy to follow. I guess what we would normally brand that as the instructions have to be IKEA standard. This was, as you saw, 2 sheets of paper. The pictures were unclear. I can imagine a lot of people, to get to this point of building this sample or this product, would become very frustrated. Okay, so if we look into the finer details now, so I'm just going to point out a couple of things on this. Now, first of all, because of the material, we have this issue here. So the corner, the product is, it's not I mean, to us that will be certainly regarded as a major defect, but imagine you've bought a brand new piece of furniture for your home. You don't want it arriving with chips like that. If we also look inside, I think one of the drawers. So if you come around this side, you'll see again, because of the material that's been used, it's much easier to shatter, crack, dent, break. So there's another issue there. And then finally, if you look down here, this is where, when we checked the package, there was a complete corner piece that had a chip taken out of it. And so, yeah, that's what the consumer would have got. So look, the long and short of it is, if you're a customer, let's say whatever money you paid for this, $50, £50, you know, 50 whatever, whatever the price that you paid for this, people have a certain expectation of a certain level of product quality, and I think most people, if they'd have bought this, it was delivered to them, they'd basically be asking for their money back. This one, there's no chips, there's no damage because of the material used and the superior packaging. We would certainly pass this as a product, and we'd imagine that consumers would be happy with this product. So from an importer's point of view, you know, if you're importing container loads of product, hundreds, thousands of units, if you're going to be importing this product, you're going to have an awful lot of strain on your business. You're going to have a lot of refunds, a lot of spare parts, a lot of bad feedback, and it's basically not good business. But this one, if the end customer is happy and satisfied as an importer, this is where you can really grow and scale your business, because this is how it should be.